Hi everyone, Anthony Fantano here, internet's busiest music nerd, and it's time for an album review. Loma Prieta I.V. These guys are a California band, fourth full-length album, and this group has undergone quite a bit of change to be playing with the sound that they currently are. No matter which Loma album you're talking about, the band's heart has always been pretty sentimental towards screamo and hardcore punk. And now, more than ever, this band's take on screamo music is extremely raw and uncompromising, coming off as intense and passionate as some of the best albums in this genre created by bands like, let's say, Page 99, who represent really the more extreme side of things. Now, this band's early work was intense as well, but definitely more accessible. The group's first two LPs definitely had much more clarity to them. Clearer guitar chords, maybe some clean singing too. I was even catching some vocal harmonies on the second LP. I guess overall with those albums there was a clearer balance between the abrasive sounds and the pleasant sounds. But as the band progressed past those two LPs, they've just been getting harsher and harsher. And now on this album right here, I think they're performing tracks with their harshest sound yet. It is very, very nasty, and these guys accomplish this nasty goal by blending screamo and hardcore punk with other styles of music, like noise. There are some spots on here that kind of hit me as being sort of very power violence-esque with these very punked out riffs and blast beats, and some of the riffs on here just feel really sludgy, really thick, and powering some tastefully performed breakdowns. But even with all these extreme sounds, all of this discord, these guys still manage to find a way to put just some gorgeous musical ideas into these tracks. The opening track here starts off with these pounding, headache-pounding drums, and these screams. The way the dude, the front man in this group, screams, by the end of this album, or just maybe at the end of a show, his voice, his vocal cords have got to be feeling like he swallowed a bunch of ghost chilies or like some molten lava or something. His vocals just are so heavy with these painful emotions. And the vocals, together with the bass, the guitar, and the drums, they're all so loud together and packed so tightly into this small sonic space. It's kind of claustrophobic. The music is right on top of me and there's just no getting away. This album can be just as harsh at times as some of the most lo-fi black metal albums out there, or even like a Converge album. Toward the middle of this opening track, there is kind of this quiet break, and then the song busts into these really kind of harmonious guitar chords. They're really triumphant, they're really beautiful. They're still played at an ear-shattering volume, but I love how pretty these guitar chords are and how they finish off this track with on a kind of positive note. And that's kind of where this LP finds its success, just violently smashing together ugly and beauty without even worrying about the consequences, and then just kind of counting the casualties after that. I think the next two tracks are some of the most unforgiving on this album. A bit of a blur for me, but they're still thrilling enough to carry me to the next three tracks, which are kind of a trilogy. Some blast beats make their way onto these tracks, just shots of feedback, and these really kind of paranoia-powered guitar leads. But my favorite in this trilogy has got to be the final track. It has to be the hardest and harshest track on this LP. The riffs are as deadly as the Death Star, and when this band flows into the breakdown toward the end of this song, they really kind of groove it out. They let it play out. And as they're playing it, the production, the recording, just starts getting louder, just more saturated, more distorted. And it continues in this direction until it basically becomes a wall of almost complete noise. It's almost like the music is so extreme, it's just disintegrating before my ears. It's just a real show of just spiteful, bleak, nihilistic feelings. Now, funny enough, after this track, all the songs start showcasing a lot more harmony. In the guitars. At least that's what I'm kind of picking up. But the guitar chords just start feeling much more mournful, much darker, and it really kind of takes the aggression that the band has been building up to this point and starts mixing all this sadness into it all of a sudden. Clenched fists, but teary eyes. The 8th track, Uniform, has some really anthemic chords and, for lack of a better word, catchy vocals. The track after that has a really kind of forceful, driving rhythm that I love, and the track after that, aside from this Distant Shadow, There Is Nothing Left, one of my favorites on this LP, actually is a song in 3. I love it when a band can play with a really extreme sound, but still rock a tune in 3 timing. And the way they break the rhythm up in that time signature with this track is really kind of unexpected, kind of progressive. On the second to last track, there are these breaks of clean guitar chords that are kind of dark, just shining out. And the final song here is loud, but it's much slower and kind of feels like the quiet after this really intense storm. Just this wasteland is left after all of these extremely tortured and just voluminous SCREAMO songs. At this point, I've heard 12 tracks and they've just flown by in 24 minutes. You know, I think aggressive music is great, no matter what genre you're making it in, because let's face it, aggression is not limited to this kind of music. But if you can mix aggression with other feelings and emotions creatively, almost in a way where it's kind of seamless, you're going to end up with a more interesting album. You're going to end up with an album with a more powerful emotional impact. You're going to end up with an album that appeals to people on more emotional levels. Aside from writing fantastic songs, that's what I feel like this album does. That is the core of this LP for me. Raw, unadulterated sadness. But that sadness is put together with this anger that sometimes makes this album alienatingly harsh. It's not like the music here is switching sides between being pretty, being loud, being pretty, being loud. It mixes them both together at the same time, forcing them to just coexist. I know I love this, but still the volume and the abrasiveness of this album does make me wonder if other people will follow me on this one. Kind of feeling a strong 8 to a light 9 on this LP. It was a great listen, and can't wait to listen to it more in the very near future. But what do you guys think of this LP? Love it? Hate it? Why? And what should I review next? Anthony Fantano, Loma Prieta, forever.